For those of you that went to the North Albany Horse Expo, I appreciate you coming and buying things and supporting us. We had a lot of fun. We did interactions with kids. We had them make a key fob. We had them make ID tags. We had them make a barrette if they wanted a barrette. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. So with the movement of our company, so we are going to be doing a lot of DIY events. What that means is, I'm going to move this a little bit. What that means is, and I guess I can't get the teams to work. I'll have to figure that out. But what that is where we are going to have live online DIY events. So on our website, theleatherladyllc.com, we sell DIY kits of not only for kids, but adults that want to learn leather. It is a great way to start in leather working because a lot of the kits will come with everything that you need. And if it doesn't, we will try to inform you and send the items that you need on top of it so that when you get the kits, you're ready to go. And so you can come on live and do a workshop. So when you go to the website, just click on any kit and you'll see the price, and then if the drop down will say it'll be a small fee for the workshop. We're actually going to do a sale in April for those workshops, and you get a professional person that deals with leather work right in front of you for like $10 for 2 hours. And if you want to drop off at an hour, you can drop off at an hour. That's just for that. So we want to do that. We are also rolled out some new products at the expo. That was some wine holders. They could be bottle holders, coffee holders, whatever you want them to be. And they are beautiful leather holders, which will be signing up on my website so that you can see those in the future. I just have to take some great photos of them before I put them on there. But not only are there wine holders, there's a trinket tray. We're in Oregon and it's in the shape of Oregon. It's a mold that was I purchased so that we could have a trinket tray as well as coasters. People, I cannot believe you guys collect coasters, collect coasters so much. And we have some beautifully engraved coasters. Let me show you one. I've got to show you one. All right. So we had one of our workers designed these, and they are phenomenal, and they are waterproofed. So it took some time for us to figure them out, but they are like this here, definitely. We can engrave anything on these guys. So if you have a company or a winery or whatever, we can go ahead and engrave on these. So there's 4 different designs that we have here. These are for the Leather Lady, of course, and that's our horse brand. There is basically one of our horses. This one didn't turn out as good because it sort of did a line through it. However, this was a work in progress, so this was our final projects. But we have a laser person that does this. We can also brand into them if you want to purchase a die. These are things that we have now, and we'll definitely show you the wine series here starting April 1st on the website. All right, so let's get started doing something fun. All right, so at the expo, one of our workers designed a well, let me put it this way. So we sell these are fly swatters. These are either a DIY kit, you can make them yourself, or you can purchase them on our website. And we can put letters on them if you want to. This one here says Pat. Okay, these are a lot of fun. These are great. And then we also put a vinyl backing on them so that when you slap those flies, it doesn't get all gooky. So some of the fly swatters I had purchased earlier didn't have that, and so they would get the bug guts on them. But if you haven't seen my short little video on my YouTube channel, go to the shorts, and I think it's under the shorts about the fly swatters. Just type in fly swatters and get a kick out of that. That's a lot of fun. But we're going to be doing some more shows coming up in June and July. So we're going to make some more of these fly swatters. You can do creative things with them. If you buy it as a DIY kit, you can stamp your letters on them. You can burn. Now, one of our workers, she burned like a horse and a heart and did the edges. She did a really, really good job. I don't even know if I have some of them here because I'm still unloading from the show. But she did burning on them, and they turned out fantastic, and all of them sold like that. So you can just be creative if you buy it as a DIY kit. A lot of fun. So we're going to make some of those, and they also extend, so you can go short, long, whatever. It just is a lot of fun. It's great for just practicing leather, too, because you can use scraps to make these. But we will send you them as a kit. There's a rivet, there's some stitching you can do on their, hand stitching, really easy. And then there's also, you can stamp and tool on all of them because they are a leather that you can do that with. So that's what I'm going to work on today. I'm going to sit here with my pattern. And if you have questions, definitely reach out. I'm sorry, this is a chat thing. I cannot get my Teams thing to work. I just don't know how to work it yet, but by the next time we are going, I will have the Teams up so you can have a live in-person workshop. Oh, there I am. Okay, but how do I get these people on here? Oh, you guys, I'm such a boomer. I'm such a boomer. I am such a boomer. Add parses, share invite. I don't know. Let's go to Facebook. Public. Let's see here. I'm going to try this. Public. Invite. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's work on some things here. So if you do come online and you have one of the kits, that's great. We will help you with the kits live. That's the whole idea of these live videos, to be able to help you with any of your leather craft. It doesn't have to be a DIY kit. If you have any questions, definitely reach out and I would be happy to answer those. If I don't have the answer, I will find the answer for you. So you can always email me as well, because I am not 100% skilled in all kinds of things. I am more horse, so I do both of them. I do horse and I do tooling, I do stamping. I'm more on the creative end of designing now that I'm older. And my workers go ahead and do the work. But a lot of repairs, you guys, if you're in the horse industry, a lot of repairs, saddle and tack repairs. We're designing our own DIY kits for the horse world so that you can actually make your own nose bands, your own breast collars, your own spur straps, your own things of that nature. And hopefully in May, we will have our own new brick and mortar, and we can actually go ahead and have more in person, but also to record our specialty guests, like having somebody come in to do shaps 1 month, mask making 1 month, cosplay 1 month, things in leather, Renaissance kind of things. So that is something that we want to do in the future. So, but I'm just going to play here with my fly swatters. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're just working in the shop today, helping you and helping answer questions that you may have, definitely on here. All right. So, hopefully this is definitely something you guys are working on. I don't know if I can just do this. Okay, I think what I'm going to do. So, you've got a boomer here that is in leather, and I don't know how to do this. So I am going to do this. I am going to, oh Lord Jesus, is it this hard, you guys? Are you young people? Are you guys, you know, all into this stuff? Okay. So, hopefully somebody will be on the Facebook, since I can't work Teams. I obviously can't work Teams. Okay. All right. How do I get this go smaller? Aren't you guys having fun yet? No? Okay, what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go live on Facebook. So if you have just checked in, I have been having trouble getting started on this. So we're definitely going to go live. Starting instructions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this leather here. So I have some leather that is, this is probably 9-ounce leather. And I am going to go ahead and make one of these. Let's see. And so I still have a bunch left over from the show, and I apologize, guys. I'm gonna have to move you back. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm gonna move you back there, and I'm gonna go ahead and make some patterns. Let's see what I've got here. I am going to do this, and go live, and loading. Okay, go live. Starting live broadcast. 2, 1. All right, we are live on Facebook. Hi guys. Hi guys. So what we're doing, whew, how many minutes into this video? Oh my God, I'm such a boomer. I'm such a boomer. Okay, you guys on, I believe you're on the Leather Lady on my Facebook. We're actually doing the DIY free workshop. So Northwest Horse Fair and Expo we did last weekend. This is definitely a free workshop for DIY kits that were purchased. So for many of you that do not know, we have a lot of horse items, and we sell DIY kits for horsey people and for anybody. So if you're into homeschooling, you're into 4-H groups, you're into anything like that, we can sell these kits bulk to help you have events or learning how to do leather. DIY kits are awesome to do leather, guys, to start out, because most of the kits come with everything that you need. So if they don't, when we ship you a DIY kit, because you can have a membership, every month you can get a new DIY kit at your skill level, and you get to pick 3 of them. However, you get a workshop also. We will be doing April 1st. Very, very minimal. You'll go on there and order a DIY kit right now. I think it's $20 for a 2-hour workshop, free live workshop. But this one here will drop down to $5. We'll do a month of, what do you call it? Not entertaining, but promoting our new DIY live. So this is just something here that you can come on, you can ask questions. Oh, Patty, but I don't have a DIY kit. Can I come on and ask questions? Yes, you can. If you are a member of our website, you definitely can. The DIYs are going to be through Microsoft Teams, so you will be able to have one-on-one. So not everybody's going to be able to go into them. It's the ones who purchase the DIY kits will be able to go into the Teams meeting. I might come on and surprise you and do a free one, but right now, this is just a promotional thing to show you. We will come on live and help you and teach you. So I've got Facebook and I've got YouTube right now, so I'm not quite sure what you're looking at. However, today we're just going to play. So if there is somebody that has purchased a DIY kit and just wants some assistance, this is where to come. This is free. This is a live event for you free. So today what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of move this around for you guys. The YouTube, I think you can see me pretty good. I'm not, my daughter would say, oh my gosh, Mom, you're such a boomer, right? But I'm going to move this around. I need to order one of those 365 cameras that follows your face and stuff. I just heard about them. Again, I'm a boomer. So we just need to get it so I don't have to have a cameraman here. So I need to keep my workers for the leather work. So what I have here right in front of me, I have, this is something we used for a lot of the expo things. So this is approximately 9-10 ounce of leather. This is what we call veg tan raw leather. So there is no color to it. So sometimes when you get your DIY kits, they're going to be a raw color like this. If you slightly oil them, they turn a beautiful sort of golden natural color. You can, and you're like, what kind of oil can we put on it? You would be surprised. You would be surprised. It's one good thing to get different kinds of oils and have a little scrap and put it on there. Make sure it's the same, from the same hide though, guys, because if you were to do a scrap from a different hide and you put oil on it, it may not turn out the same, okay? Because these are cow. Well, they could be other things too if you're using exotic leathers and things like that. However, the cow, it depends on its feed, depends on what climate it lived in, what type of cow it is, you know, is it a dairy cow, is it a Angus, you know, what kind of cow it is, where it was tanned and how it was tanned. All these elements can affect not only your oil, but your dyes, your stains, anything that you do with it. Now, so if you're brand new to leather, okay, you might say, well, why can't I buy a colored hide? Yes, you can. So like, depends on the type of hide that you want. If you are going to tool or stamp, okay, this is for all the beginners. If you're going to tool and stamp, you need to do it on a veg tan. Okay, this is a veg tan. So you've got to know your leathers a little bit, and that's what we teach. There's a class 101, a leather 101, and we teach you the different grades of leather, the different types of leather, the different parts of leather and what you use those for, and everything in that nature. All right? And so this veg tan, we can be very versatile with it because, like I said, I do horse equipment. So the majority of the horse equipment that we manufacture and custom make, I will use 10 ounce, 12 ounce. I never really use 14 ounce. That's for super, super heavy skirting. All right. So usually a 10 ounce leather is strong enough for a lot of stress points in a, say you want to make billets, or say you want to make a latigo or something of that nature. Every leathersmith is different. Every saddle maker is different. There is a base to what they do or what we do, but you can also you change things up per what you've been taught. So most people in leatherworking have not gone through schooling per se. They maybe have been handed down generation to generation, maybe a saddle maker, and that saddle maker, grandpa, grandma, great, 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 great grandpa, well, usually it's grandpa, but there could be a grandma mixed in there, and they, you know, pass it down to their kids and their kids and their kids. So a lot of people learn leather working in that way. So it all depends on what specificity that you want. Okay, you could be a leather costume designer. You could be a sculptor. Oh my gosh. I was at Be Natural, and one of the owners showed me a sculpture, and it was literally an eagle, and you would have thought it was a real eagle. Japanese person, very, very intricate. It must have took him years to make that, but it looked literally like an eagle. You can do so much with leather. If you want to be a costume designer, if you want to make your own saddle, if you want to make your own horse equipment, if you want to repair it, that kind of a thing. So that's what we teach here at the Leather Lady. And hopefully soon we're going to have our in-person classes, but we also want to offer this around for everywhere in the United States. So that's why I'm live, guys. But it all just depends on what your leather, you know, how thick your leather is and what you can do with it and how stiff it is. So you might have a tanned hide, even like, for example, the high-end leathers like Herman Oak or Traditions has some really good high-end leathers. Your English bridal leather, they could be a little bit stiffer, but also too, it depends on what you need to use it for. You may want them stiff and hard, especially like for a knife sheath, you want them a little bit thicker. And with your knife sheaths, you may have to put in a rivet or two so that it doesn't cut through those threads, because it just depends on how big of a knife you have and what you're using it for. I just did a saw scabbard, and there was nothing I could do. The teeth on that thing were like this way, they were sticking out this way, and every time I would put plastic in there or do whatever I needed to do in there, it would just slice it. It was so sharp it would slice it, and it was slicing the leather, but the leather he had was like 12-ounce thick on both sides, and I just told him, you're gonna have to buy another scabbard, because no matter what plastic you put in there, it's gonna just chew it up and tear it up. So he just didn't want to spend the money, but he should have been able to spend the money. But so whatever it is that you're wanting to use your leather for, know what it is. If you're going to do wallets, if you're going to do purses, things of that nature, you're going to use a lighter leather. Welcome, Larry. Now that dude knows it's leather. But you want to be able to know what ounce. We usually go by ounce in leather. We don't go by, it's a 1/4 inch, it's a 1/2 inch. You know, we do understand that, but you've got to learn your ounces and how to understand the ounces. So like bags and purses and things of that nature, you're probably going to use, depends on how fine of a leather you want. You could do 3 ounces up to 4 or 5 ounces, maybe 6 ounces. And it also too depends on if you want a tool on it, or if you want to engrave on it, or if you want to emboss it. It's going to make a big difference. So there's a lot to learn, but that's what we're here for. So if you want to emboss, if you want to engrave, engraving's a whole nother animal. We've learned that just recently. But if you want to emboss or tool or stamp, make sure it's a veg tan. Your chrome leathers are not good at that. And number one thing, if you're going to start engraving on leather, guys, do not. And if I could just go blam, 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 I would, with like some red lights and everything. Do not use chrome leather. It will ruin not only the leather, but it'll ruin your laser. Totally. It's not, chrome leather is not good. It's not good for molding either. It's really wanting not to take the shape. There are stiffeners that you can use. However, you want to use a good veg tan leather. There are some exotics that will definitely mold and things like that too, but it just depends, again, on what you want to do with your project. So if you have any comments, any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the description below if you're on YouTube, or if you're on Facebook. Don't forget to, you can always make a comment like, oh my God, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I've been doing this for 21 years, guys. And I am still learning. I think any leathersmith that says they already know everything, I would run away from them, because there's always something new to learn. Especially with this older generation, there's so many things in the technology and in digital that it just blows my mind. It still blows my mind, all right? So I'm just looking at my background, and it's like, I haven't recouped from the expo. I haven't even put up all my products. I've been exhausted. As we get older, it's like, oh my goodness. All right. So that's just a little bit of leather. So about, you know, the basics, very, 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 very brief. We could go to do a whole class on just leather itself in, you know, different grains and things like that. And also, you know, the parts to use and what to use them for, and what stretches, what doesn't stretch so much. Because remember, again, guys, this is skin. I get a ton of saddle work and bridle work in that people don't take care of their leather, and it is as hard as rock. And sometimes you can bring that back, and sometimes you can't. Because remember, it's skin. So if it gets really hard from sitting in somebody's attic or garage or whatever, to talk about a garage, and we're in the Pacific Northwest, and the mold, you're going to get mold and mildew. We do sell products on our website, the Amore, but the oil with fungicide, if you're in the Northwest or Pacific Northwest, Canada, that area, and you get a lot of rain and humidity down in the south by Florida and down there, you're going to get a lot of mold. You definitely want to use our Be Natural Sal. I was going to do it again. I did this all weekend at the expo. Salad oil. You're going to use saddle oil with fungicide. Okay, it's a anti-fungicide protected to help you keep some of that mold away. Oh my Lord Jesus, help me. Okay, so anything with questions on that? I don't know if I have a video on YouTube on grains and stuff. That's more for a workshop, because there is an extensive amount to learn about that. However, let's talk about patterns. So if you got a DIY kit from our website or at the expo, it should come with a pattern. It may just have a pattern for tooling and stamping on there. It may have a pattern for you to trace and cut out something, or even just trace the pattern on there. That definitely, patterns, you can be done so many ways. And now, guys, what is really popular, I am seeing through a lot of leather artisans, when you're doing your patterns, they're using the tattooing tool, or they're using a burning tool, or they're engraving very, 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 very so lightly on the leather that they can go ahead and begin skiving over that. Is it great? It's, you know, it's a great technique and tool to have. However, if you really want to learn the old way, like the Sheridan way and everything, you've got to trace your pattern onto your leather. And how do we do that? There's many ways that you can do that, all right? So the one ways that you can do, because you want to keep that pattern that you've got over and over again, so you get yourself some tracing film. I don't know if we have that on our website, but we do sell it. If you go on under our website and go under shop, there is a catalog there. If you want, look up the number for the catalog or for the film, tracing film or tracing paper kind of a thing. Tracing paper with leather is a little difficult. I use tracing film because it's a little thicker and it stands a lot longer. So you can use the tracing film, that kind of a thing. If you have the old-fashioned, maybe it needs to be bigger, maybe it needs to be smaller. There's another trick to do that too. But let's just stay with the tracing for the moment. So you can go ahead and you can trace on there the pattern, and then you take that pattern and transfer that to the leather. Now, how do we do that? You know, where you've got this big, huge piece of leather, where am I going to put it? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? You're a beginner, right? So what you want to do is you want to make sure whatever you're going to use your leather for, so maybe you have a multi-use. Maybe you want to, it's a long half hide, okay, and you want to make a dog leash. Well, you're going to have to do that off the back. I'm not going to go into that. But if you want to do just something really simple, you want to be able to know your parts again of that leather, because if I'm showing you this, I'm going to back up a little bit. This is the back, which I had to cut a straight line. When you buy your hides, they're not straight. You got to think of a cow's back. It goes up and it goes down, right? So if you're going to cut some straps, or you're going to cut a leash, or you're going to cut a collar, or you're going to cut whatever it is, you want to make sure that that back is straight. So you're going to have to cut a big straight line off that back, okay? Or if it's a shoulder or whatever you're using, okay, kind of a thing. So we want to do that. So this is the back of it, but I cut the bottom part off. So this was the belly part of the cow, okay? I cut it off because we were using it under our press for some key fobs. Okay, but this is going to be really stretchy. Your belly, oh my gosh, don't look at mine. I got a big one. But the belly, it's going to stretch. Your tummy stretches, that stretches. So if you want something to stretch, when you put your pattern down, you put it down on the belly area. Okay, if you don't want it to stretch, you definitely want to put it up more towards the back. So where you're going to put your pattern is up to you. However, leather's expensive. It's getting more expensive with the tariffs. This is 2025. I think I'm in 2025. But it's going to get a little bit more expensive with the tariffs. So really want to use every piece of leather that you can. I'm thinking here, on our press, we use every little piece we can. And my worker, we could have even gotten closer, because you want to save money, okay? So you definitely want to move as close as you can to each piece when you lay them out. When you lay them out, you want to get close. So, what are you gonna put your pattern on the front? Are you gonna put the pattern on the back? So, a lot of the times, if you're making a wallet or something, you're gonna put a lining on. Your markings will want to go on the back, because, excuse me, if you put that lining on there, you're not going to see it. If you, for example, sometimes I do this, I may use an ink pen, depending on the darkness of the thing, of the hide, but I would not suggest it, you know, just because ink does not come out. Whereas you could use a pencil, you can use a scratching awl. Do you guys know what a scratching awl is? You guys are beginners. So let me show you another thing. So a scratching awl is just one of these. I have different sizes. If you're a beginner, you're gonna want one of these. So I do sell them on the website. So if you don't have one, get one. Definitely you'll use this 100%. All the time. Sometimes this thing is just hooked to my hand because I use it so flipping much, okay? This is also this is, I think, Craft Pro. This is a tracing tool. You can use it for tracing. It's got not a really sharp tip, and they've got different tips, but you can also use this for making like a line on something. You can use that. But your scratching tool is probably best pencil. Use a pencil. If you're using a dark leather, okay, one of my workers, I completely forgot about this. These young people really have got it together that are working for me. It blows me away. If you're working with a darker leather, you know, like a darker brown, and you cannot see it, okay, you can't see the pencil, right? All right. So, you guys, Amazon, super easy. I used to use a white pencil. You can use a white marking pencil, like a sewing pencil, but you can also use sewing chalk. It works fantastic, and it also comes off. You can rub it off. Okay. There are also pens now, they taught me, which I did not know. There's pens that you can mark the leather with, but you can, I think it's either heat, I think it's heat. It's heat that they take, you just do heat and it disappears. It's amazing what things that they can come up with now. It's just amazing. So what you want to do is most of your markings are going to go on the back side. Which is the back side? If you're a beginner again, right? You're a beginner. The back side is the rough outside. The nice smooth side is the pretty side. That, you know, you want the back side that's rough out, sort of a rough out. It's a, you know, grain kind of a thing. So you definitely want to use this side, the underside, where they actually shave it, rather than the pretty side, because that's what you're going to want to either dye or oil or whatever you're going to do there, to make it all pretty and beautiful. Okay, so definitely mark your patterns on there. Okay, so somebody's going to tell me, well, I've never done patterns before. You make your own. You make your own. We made the patterns for these fly swatters. Okay, woo woo. I love these guys. I think they're so fun. We sold quite a few of them at the show. But we made these patterns. There's a couple of things that you can do. If you have somebody at home that does have a little like jigsaw or something like that, you get yourself some plastic at Home Depot. You can make your own templates out of plastic. I left the little thing on there just to protect it. Sometimes this is really good and sometimes not. Sometimes it cracks and breaks. It has to be a pretty sturdy plastic. This was something we were playing around with this, but this gave it the shape. Okay. The other thing too, cardboard, if you've got cardboard, a cereal box is a really good, you know, I'm thinking, let me tell you, I'll find every cheap way I can to save money so that I can spend money on the stuff that I really, really want. And I also got these, I think Tandy sells these, but it's like a stiffening board, a stiffening kind of a thing, and you can buy it by the foot, I believe. But I had a whole bunch. I hate it for stiffening. I absolutely hate it. But you would, when they're like, well, what would you use that for? Well, you would use it for like the bottom of a bag, or say you're doing a book cover, you know, and you need some stiffening agent. You can do this. Oops, sorry guys. I'm gonna nix-scay that. There we go. Because I am a live working shop, so probably somebody calling in for some work. But I don't use this for like that kind of stuff. I did it once, didn't like it. There are products out there for stiffening. We'll go into that at a different time. Right now we're just talking about patterns. Okay? But if you are really needing that stiffening agent, Google stiffeners for leather. All right. So like this one here, we just wanted to make a pattern, and this one folds. Let's see, how can I do this? See, this one folds because that's where we want to do that, but I need to just keep the pattern that way. So I just take this and I go ahead, and because I don't care about this too much, I can put it almost anywhere on here. And I will put it, let's see if I can move this. I will put it to the edge as much as I can. So I'm going to have a little bit of a sliver here. But if I had to make like 10 of them, which sometimes we do, you want to make sure that you're utilizing the whole thing. So if you've got several pieces to your pattern, you want to go through that pattern, lay it out, see what's best, move it around like a puzzle, and then go ahead and then lay it down. And then you can go ahead and draw on it, or you can, you know, again, use your awl to mark it. This will do a slight mark, but pencil, I use a pencil because I can always erase it if I need to, but also too, if I'm putting a backing on this of any kind, I don't care. So like on a belt, say I did a belt once, I wasn't going to put a backing on it, I wasn't satisfied with that, without that backing, and so I put a backing on it. So there's things that you may change, you know, when you do your own designs and stuff like that. Now, if I needed to do this two-sided, so this pattern is a whole pattern, okay? If you've got your DIY kit and it has the patterns, that's fantastic. However, if you have to make a pattern, I would suggest, strongly suggest, that you make just half of that pattern. So, because here's the thing. Say you get your pattern and you get it perfect, and then you make a whole one like this, then maybe this side is off, maybe this corner is off, or whatever. But if you take, I'm wondering if I have something. I don't think I do. One day I'll show you how I keep my patterns. I love it. I love it. I love it. But I would not even do this whole thing. I would just do half. Why? Because you're going to draw that pattern, that half. Imagine this gone, okay? You're going to draw that pattern, okay, and it's just a straight line, but then you're going to flip it over so that you have a perfect two sides. So you would start out here, and then that pattern is cut in half, and then you would fold it over and move that next to that. Then you're going to have the exact same dimensions, the same size, same everything as that other side. A lot of the times when we draw, and you can even see that in this pattern, if we look at the top part, this one goes out a little bit and this one goes straight. That's because we did a whole pattern. Am I going to do that? No, I'm probably going to flip it. I'm going to go to the center and flip it. And that's just part of it. Okay, I know that's a little confusing, but in all reality, it's going to save you time. It's going to look more professional. It's going to have symmetry and that kind of a thing. All right? Something just to learn. So you're going to put your pattern on here and draw it. Okay? And I don't think I have a pencil. But then how do we cut it out? Okay, so you got your DIY kit. It's probably already cut out for you, which makes it super, super easy. But say you're wanting to make that same thing again, but you have this little piece of leather, but it's not cut out. So you want to do another one, like we do our roses. So if you saw our roses at the expo, they're a lot of fun. But you want to make another one. Now you have a pattern, you want to make another one. So on your leather, you're going to have to cut it out. Okay? So a couple of things about cutting out, okay? And there's going to be discrepancy, and you guys can comment, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube, you can comment on it. I would love to hear what you have to say, especially us elders, because us elders used to use round knives and head knives. They're the ones that they look like a guillotine blade kind of a thing. That you always have to sharpen them. Definitely, you're always having to sharpen. One of my mentors, who's now passed on, bless his soul, Gary, I wanted one so bad. I could not really afford one back in the day, but I wanted one so bad. So I had saved up enough money for a head knife. And he's like, why are you buying one? Why do you want one? And I said, well, because they're for doing leather, and that's what leather people do. And so he went and he got a knife for me, and he says, use this. And I'm like, Gary, it's just a box knife. He goes, it's a knife that you will never want to go back to a head knife again. And I said, but it's not a leather knife. And he's like, try it. And we cut some leather, and he goes, now flip the blade over. And I flipped the blade over and we did the cutting of the other stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, you don't have to stop and sharpen your blade because you need a sharp blade. You don't have to stop all the time. So get yourself a good quality box knife. I know you guys are going to hate me for that, but you know what? I use a good utility box knife. In fact, I think I've had that one for 15 years, and it cuts through 10 ounce. Well, my leather's like butter, so it's like it cuts through the 10 ounce. 12 ounce is a little difficult. Definitely, you want to do that. So get your, if you've got a box knife laying around the house and you're a beginner, this is a good way to start. Please, please, please be really, really careful, I'm going to say, because if it's not sharp, you could really cut yourself. And I say that about my saddle work all the time. If I don't bleed, the job's not done right. Any of the leather, the saddle work that I do, if it doesn't bleed, I haven't done something right. Because I'm always cutting myself or stabbing myself. And people say, well, why do you do that? And I'm like, because I don't pay attention sometimes. So, to cut out your pattern, then definitely get yourself a box knife. Make sure the blades are sharp, please. Now, what I do with my box knives, we'll see if my workers did it. This is a Husky. I don't like Husky. I can't remember where my blue one is, because that is the best. There it is. This is a company called Sheffield. I've had this knife for 15 years. And my workers were like, ooh, I like that knife. And I'm like, yeah, it's not much different than the Husky knives, but this is crap. As much as I like Husky products, it's crap. So this one here, the Sheffield, is a really good quality knife. The other thing is, did they do it? Yes, they did. So you've got two-sided blades, okay? This is for you guys when you want to cut out your patterns and stuff. So you're using this side of the blade, right? And you're like, okay, it's getting dull. I really need to flip it over. What do you do? Okay, just a helpful tip for you guys that are just starting out is, do you see what we did on there? So see if I can get closer. I don't know if you can see that, guys. There's an X or a dot on there. And the reason why we do that is that side has been used. If there is a dot or a black mark on there, it's been used. So I know that this is time to throw this blade away. So definitely want to make sure that you're sharp. Okay, so this is a brand new blade here. They did what I told them to do. Mark it with a felt pen. I use a permanent felt pen, or you could do a regular felt pen. And then the other thing too is that you just want to be really, really careful with it. Let me go ahead and mark this up really quick. Let me see if I can find a pencil. And I want to show you something. When you're cutting your patterns, hang on. There we go. Okay. So when you're cutting your patterns, let me just go ahead and see if I can get this in the... Can you guys see on YouTube? I hope so. I'll have to do this different, but let's go ahead and just make the shape. And I'm not going to worry about what it looks like right now. All right. So I've got it marked with my pencil. Now the other thing too, if you're using a ruler or your pattern and you're doing a straight line, I would strongly recommend leaving your pattern on there. Yes, you can cut into your pattern. It's very possible. That's why if there's a straight line, I will use a ruler. Okay, so let me show you, because these are straight lines on the side. Metal rulers, beginners. Definitely metal ruler. The reason being is if you do a plastic ruler or a wood ruler, you're using a knife, you're going to gradually cut into that, and then your ruler's not going to be straight anymore. You're going to have fun. But a metal ruler definitely will be much, much better for you, okay? I'm gonna see, I wish YouTube I could do this better. If you're on YouTube, go to Facebook. Go to my Facebook, The Leather Lady LLC, because it's a little bit different. But let me go ahead and see if I can do this. So for you guys, I've got to get another camera. It's just called money. You know, money is sort of a hard thing to come by these days. So you're just going to do that, but you're going to leave your knife. You're going to make sure that your fingers are away. See this? This thing here? See this? This thing here? That I cut into it and then my finger got it. Yep. Oh, did I bleed on that one? So it's really important to keep your fingers away from the blade. So when you start up here, you got to remember when you're cutting your patterns, guys, that you are going to cut straight, not angle out, not angle in, because it's going to make a big, big difference in what the look is like and if you have to bevel it, okay? So what you want to do, no matter, now if you're using a head knife, you're going to be cutting more straight. But you're also, I couldn't do it because of my wrists. My wrists are getting old and tired. But you're going to take that and you're going to just go straight. Now, don't follow what I do because I want you to keep your fingers out of the way of the blade. I go beyond the end of it because I don't want to stop there. And now I have a nice straight cut, okay? I have a nice straight cut. It's not leaning in, it's not leaning out, it's just straight cut. Practice that because before you know it, you're going to be going where there is especially if you're right-handed, that top part of your leather is going to be shorter than your bottom part. And now you got to go trim the bottom, and then you've just cut it off slightly so much. So if you're looking for a specific tight pattern, you've just messed it up a little bit, especially if you're needing to sew the edges very close. Okay, I don't know if that's helped anybody or not, but that is just basically when you're going to do with your patterns and cutting this. Now, I could leave this on there. However, again, you know, people are saying, well, why can't you just leave the pattern on it and cut around the pattern? You could, but then it's going to be that thing like your plastic ruler or your wood ruler. It's very likely you could cut into your pattern. You don't want to do that. You want to hold on to those patterns as close as you can to what they are, you know, as far as the way that you made them. But if you get a DIY kit, you're probably going to get a pattern of some stenciling. You're going to get, again, tooling and things like that. And so what you're going to do is, okay, with your patterns, oh, I should have brought some coffee or some water or something. But with your patterns for your tooling and your stamping, those kind of things that you want to do, mostly tooling, you are going to want to do that on the front side, right? And then you're like, okay, now I'm really confused. Oh dear, we got a little dirty. And the reason why you want to do your pattern on the front side is that's where your design is going to be, like on a belt. Say you're going to do tooling on a belt, you're going to do tooling on whatever it is, that you want to be able to put that design on the front. So one of the things that you can do, if you're using pencil, pencil can smudge. You can actually get a spray to put on there to make it not smudge. They use it's an artist spray. However, then that may affect the finish when you dye it and do those kind of things. But you would want to definitely be really careful. Again, don't use pen on the front unless it's that disappearing pen. You could do that. You want to be able to just put a nice design on there. And that's when you can use these nice little tools for putting those in there so that you get those fine details in there as well. So on your tooling and stamping, things of that nature, you definitely want to put your pattern on the front side of your hide, which is the smooth side. I'm not going to get into the terms of grains and sides and all that kind of stuff. It's just trying to keep it simple for you, because sometimes learning terminology is really hard, and that's why we take a workshop or a class. And you can sign up for workshops and classes on our website. Website is going to be changing hopefully April 1st to make it more user friendly, that kind of a thing. But definitely those kind of things. So if you picked up a DIY kit, it's going to have those things in there for you. And if you wanted to purchase extra tools with it, then you would just buy the DIY kit, put in the comments and notes, hey, I really want to buy this. We invoice you for that, and you pay it, and then we ship the whole kit so that you're ready to go. And then starting April 1st, there is a DIY calendar on our website where you can see, there isn't yet, it will be there April 1st, where you can see dates where you can come on and do those workshops. We are going to do workshops on Saturdays. We are closed Sundays, or I try to be closed one day of the week. But we're trying to see what people want. So if you guys want a workshop that is in the weekdays, please comment. Otherwise, they're going to be just Saturdays around noon, because if you're on the East Coast, it's 3 o'clock, and if you're on the West Coast, it's 12. And we will ship these DIY kits to Canada and all over the United States. So you get me live once a week for your DIY kits. There's also memberships on the website. Say you're a beginner and you want to do this, say, every month just to get practiced and skilled. Okay, so you can join. I think I don't even know what the membership is right now, but we will have three options, not three options, three options of a beginner's DIY kit. There will be 3 options for intermediate and 3 options for the advanced kits, and you can choose one of those. And then the next month you can choose a different one. They'll be changing so that you guys don't get stuck with the same kit over and over and over. We want to build people in the leather industry so that you guys can help fill that hole when us older leather people pass on, so that we can keep this leather craft and this workmanship and artistry open. No matter if it's saddle, that's why my YouTube channel is about saddle repairs and all type of saddle and tack things, as well as some kits and grommets and snaps and all that kind of stuff, how to do those, because we want to grow artisans. Now, if you want to go into a leather business or an equestrian business, there is going to be a full-blown entrepreneurial consulting workshop. Actually, it's, I think, a series. I have been in the business for so long, and I want to share with you do's and don'ts to start your own business, where to help you get free things, where to grow your business, how to grow your business, that kind of a thing there, and save you horrible steps that I had to go through that I should have never gone through. So do's and don'ts of owning your own equestrian business or leather business. Definitely a workshop that you want to take, especially to save you time and money. I'm going to save you a ton of time and money doing that. So those are just things that are coming up in April for the DIY. We will do, again, for those that are just coming in, the DIYs, we will do bulk for homeschoolers. We'll give them a certain pricing. We do support our veterans and our disabled, 4-H groups, bridal groups. Again, hopefully we'll have our brick and mortar by May 1st. Crossing my fingers, we're finalizing. But the thing is that we want to be there for the communities that are challenged or that need an extra help or push for financial, like the kids. This is something that at the Northwest Horse Expo and Fair, I was blown away at how much we need to have hands-on fun stuff for not only the kids, but you would be surprised at how many adults were doing this and want to do this. So we want to be able to support groups and veterans, and hopefully by the end of the year we will have nonprofits, so some of these veterans and disabled and work displaced people can have scholarships for some of this stuff, or help at least a little bit. That's the goal. So those are things that are to come, and I'm going to do probably one of these lives maybe once a month so that I can give you updates on how things are moving and how things are going. And we want to bring artisans in with their specificities. There's one girl I know, her mask making, she used to work in New Orleans, and the masks she makes are phenomenal out of leather. And you would never even know it. I was like, how did you do that? I want to take her class. But there's, I want to have classes. They're Native American class, and all just different kinds of classes that I would like, or workshops, I should say, like a day workshop or a weekend workshop to do. So, but that is where I'm going to, I think, end, because one, if you got a DIY kit, most of them were basic at the show. I went through them, and they were definitely beginner ones. They were thinner leather. I think most of those were 3 to 5 ounce kind of leather. And that was something that more for your little kits, like knife sheaths and things like that. So that was a lot of fun, definitely. Welcome. I can't read that, it's too far away, but welcome, whoever you are. Jack, it looks like Jack. But if you have any questions, any comments, concerns, anything that you need, don't forget to reach out. I am very, very personable and will answer your questions, and definitely I'm making sure that nobody's commented on YouTube to make sure I don't miss anybody, definitely. But if I haven't, excuse me, if I haven't answered your question, it's because I can't see it right now. We will be going on Microsoft Teams. So if you are a member and we're going to do something as far as a workshop, it will be on Microsoft Teams. It will not be live, because when you pay for extra, then it is something that you deserve to have private. And that's the whole thing, is we want to be able, but we will come on here live and do things like this every now and then and just give you some tips. Today we talked about patterns. Today we talked about different types of leathers. Today we talked about how much of a boomer I am. I can't even get my YouTube started. Can't get Teams started today either. But we also talked about a little bit about cutting for beginners. And I would love to know if you thought this was helpful. If you're watching it either on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, please tell me if it was helpful. That will get me in a direction, and tell me what you would like to see, what you need help with. Beginners, there's so much. Don't let it overwhelm you. Don't just take your kits. I heard this at the show so many times. I bought a kit 20 years ago and it's still in the garage. I bought a kit 25 years ago, or my dad bought me a kit when I was a kid and it's still sitting there. Somebody had moccasins. It's like, yeah, I haven't even finished my moccasins, and he was in his 50s. So don't do that. Pull those things out, and then the next time that we meet, and watch the website for the calendar. Again, though, it's going to be every Saturday. How about that? It's going to be every Saturday. I just don't know what time. And we will do that for probably the month of April and May. and summer, not quite sure, because we are going to be at some events coming this summer. If you're in the Portland area, there's the Renaissance Fair coming up in Sherwood. It's Robin Hood Days. There's the Old Fashioned Festival where it look like we're going to be in there, hopefully, and sharing our new wine carrier series. Even have them for your saddle. They're actually bottle carriers, but we say wine carriers because we're in the middle of wine country. But they will carry a small spritzer bottle, or like a small water bottle, large water bottle. They'll carry a thermos, that kind of a thing. Watch April 1st. Those are going to be now listed on our website. You can purchase those. You can have your name engraved on them. You can have them stamped. You can have... On the trinket trays, though, we can't engrave. That's the one that's shaped like Oregon. We can do stamping on them, though. So they'll have that. And the coasters, definitely. Again, we can engrave, we can stamp, we can do all that kind of stuff, guys. And now that we have an awesome guy that does our engraving, that we can engrave on almost anything. All right. Remember, though, guys, just a heads up, if you're going to engrave on your leather, make sure it's not chrome tan. I know that there's a lot of people that want to start doing that, like making their lines for their patterns like we discussed, but do not do chrome tan. You will ruin your laser. And it's in it, and also the fumes, please, 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 oh my gosh, please make sure you're guiding those fumes outside. Whether you're putting your hose in a window, get a cover for it, put your hose outside. Those are toxic fumes, whether you're doing wood or leather. Toxic fumes. You don't want to breathe those in. You can get them like the, you can, my brother bought my cover for mine because he was like, you can't do that, sis, you're going to kill yourself. But the thing is, those round things, you can get your air conditioner, like the little piece that goes in your window and it's got the hole for the tube. You can get one of those for your window if you're in a garage or whatever, or you can get it for the floor for your garage while you're doing it. And they've got the hole, then you just duct tape around that so none of that gets into your garage. Definitely you gotta do that, guys. And again, no chrome tan. Chrome tan is different. Maybe we'll discuss that, the different type of hides next month. And I will put it on the schedule, on the calendar, on my website, when it's going to be just a free workshop. Okay. You guys in the interim can say, hey, can we talk about this on the free workshop? Can we talk about this? Or can you answer this on the free workshop? So we will do a free workshop, and then for the DIYs, they get their own. So purchase a DIY kit. If you're learning leather, best way to do it, because it comes with everything. And if it doesn't, we'll look at it and say, hey, do you want us to put these in with your DIY kit? And it's X amount of dollars extra. Pay the invoice, we ship it out, everything. If you have repairs, guys, horse people, if you have saddle and tack repairs and you're like, I can't afford to ship it, you'd be surprised because we have cheaper shipping, and because I am a business, so we can send you a prepaid shipping label. I can tell you if you've got an English saddle, a Western saddle, what box. Home Depot sells perfect size boxes for these things. If you need a box, there are 2 sizes that Home Depot sells that they fit perfectly into, and you throw in some padding of some type. I had a lady send me an English saddle. Actually, I think I bought that. That was a kid's saddle for $50. It had a tear, and I repaired it and resold it. But she must work in a medical clinic or the hospital, because she's, those paper shorts that they give you, it was packed full with a hospital pillow or a clinic pillow or something. So you can pack it with anything and get it here safe. But we do repairs all over the United States. We will send you a prepaid shipping label. We'll repair it. We'll fix it. And we will ship it back to you. We can, I think that saddle, she was quoted $80 to ship it to me, and I paid $27. So again, I get big discounts in shipping. So please don't stop sending your repairs just because of the shipping rates. And we're so reasonably priced in repairs, you'd be surprised. So I'd be glad to help you with that. All right. But I do thank you for whoever is watching this, whether it's recorded or live. I really do appreciate you guys coming on. Again, once a month, we'll do it for like an hour, hour and a half, depending on how many people, free workshop. So share with your friends. If you're on YouTube, please share this with your friends. Like, it's really important to like, because I don't know what YouTube does, but now if you like it, then they see that it was something that is needed in the leather industry. That's a huge thing. So like, please like. I don't care if you subscribe or not. I'm not in it for the money. I just am in here to teach you guys, because we need leather artisans. We really need leather artisans. So please like if you're on YouTube. Please like. Oh, thank you so much for liking on Facebook. I appreciate it very much. And share, because free is a very good price. And I'd be glad to teach you guys. All right. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to go to the leatherladyllc.com and watch my YouTube at the Leather Lady LLC. Have a great week, guys. Thank you for watching. Larry, love you. Thank you. I got to get up to Pasco and up in that area to see you and Alan. I got to get up there. I want to meet you guys. All right. See you guys soon. I don't know how to turn this off. How do I turn it off?